There is a silent hum beneath the thunder of missiles, a rhythm older than war drums, older than blood feuds and territorial claims, a pattern, ancient, scripted, hidden not in the headlines, but in scrolls lost to time, whispered in the midnight studies of mystics, and now, unfolding across the deserts of the Middle East. What the world sees as a geopolitical standoff between Iran and Israel may in truth be the reawakening of something far more primordial, a prophecy inscribed in the shadows of Revelation, a prophecy that speaks of the rising lion and the coming of the red dragon. For decades, the Middle East has been a stage drenched in conflict. But what makes this moment unique, this rising lion campaign, these Iranian and Israeli skirmishes, is the alignment, politically, celestially, spiritually. The battle lines are not just being drawn in sand, but across sacred timelines that stretch back to Eden itself. And to those who understand prophecy, this is no ordinary war. It is a trigger. In the book of Revelation, chapter 12, a vision is given, a woman clothed with the sun, a crown of 12 stars on her head, and a dragon, red as fire, standing before her. This dragon, ancient and malevolent, is described as having 7 heads and 10 horns, waiting to devour what is yet to be born. Scholars have long debated the identity of this red beast. Many saw Rome, others China. But in recent times, there are whispers in prophetic circles that the red dragon is not merely a symbol of empire, but of a spiritual entity that arises through war, chaos, and deception. Could this dragon be stirring now? Iran's regime, deeply entwined with Islamic eschatology, has repeatedly declared its mission not just as a political state, but as a vessel of divine justice. Their generals speak of Mahdi, the hidden imam, returning soon. In their worldview, this apocalyptic figure will rise after global chaos, especially chaos centered around Jerusalem. And so, each missile fired, each drone deployed, is not just a military strategy, it is a countdown. Israel, on the other hand, though secular in many respects, remains the spiritual heart of prophecy. Jerusalem is the epicenter of nearly every major eschatological timeline. But beyond tanks and treaties, there are rabbis, scholars, and Kabbalists who speak in hushed tones of the Leviathan awakening, of celestial alignments over the Temple Mount, and of coded messages hidden in the Torah that mirror today's headlines. Even within Iran, deep state factions seem to believe they are fighting a divine war. Project Rising Lion is not merely a defense operation. It is believed to be a mystical preparation, drawing power from ancient Zoroastrian symbols and the fire altars that predate Islam itself. Some believe the lion in this operation's name is not political, but apocalyptic, a representation of a beastly force rising not just from Iran but from beneath, tied to the land's ancient underworld beliefs about Ahriman, the spirit of destruction. In the realm of intelligence, classified reports, leaked or perhaps intentionally released, suggest that both Israeli and Iranian scientists are experimenting with quantum communication technologies. On the surface, it sounds like standard military advancement. But some reports speak of strange patterns in the transmissions, patterns resembling ancient sigils, alchemical scripts, and forgotten languages. Could these technologies be accidental conduits to something else? And what of the red dragon? The phrase itself has resurfaced in unexpected places, in sermons, in intercepted communications, and even in coded art appearing on anti-war protests. Some believe the red dragon is symbolic of China silently fueling both sides for its own prophecy-driven purpose. Others claim the dragon is a fallen being, long dormant, now rising through the veil between dimensions, feeding off the despair and bloodshed. The more one looks, the more it seems that the dragon isn't coming. It's already here, hiding behind flags and faith. But the truth, as always, lies not just in what is seen, but in what is hidden. And the deeper you look, the clearer it becomes. This war, this rising lion, is not a beginning. It is a ritual, a reenactment, a sacrifice set on a global altar. The lion rises, yes, but to face what? Or serve whom? And what happens when the red dragon speaks? The dragon speaks not in thunder, but in symbols. Its voice is encoded, etched into ancient architecture, buried in myth, and whispered through geopolitical maneuvers that appear random to the untrained eye. But once the veil is lifted, a pattern emerges, a sacred geometry of war, blood, and prophecy. Many overlook the peculiar timing of the rising lion offensive. As the war escalated, a rare blood moon cast its shadow across the Middle East. At that same moment, tremors were recorded beneath Mount Damavand, the highest peak in Iran, and according to Persian legend, the prison of Zahak, the Serpent King. This myth speaks of a beast who ruled by consuming the brains of the innocent and was bound in chains beneath the mountain by a divine force. What if this wasn't just a myth? What if these tremors signaled more than tectonic shifts? What if they were spiritual? There are whispers that the Rising Lion operation was initiated not by generals, but by spiritual advisors deep within the Iranian power structure. Men who claim direct lineage from ancient magi, guardians of occult knowledge passed through generations since Babylon. These advisors reportedly commissioned a ritual beneath an abandoned Zoroastrian fire temple before the first wave of strikes against Israel. A ceremony invoking the divine fire of Ahura Mazda and cursing the Zionist enemy with the awakening breath of the dragon, and the dragon responded. But Iran is not alone in its esoteric pursuits. Inside Israel, an elite group known informally as the Sons of Issachar has grown in prominence. This secretive assembly, composed of mystics, historians, and military strategists, believes Israel is nearing its final trial, the tribulation foretold by prophets. They have reportedly deciphered passages from Ezekiel, Daniel, and even the Dead Sea Scrolls that suggest the current war is a fulfillment of a hidden timeline. A date, unknown to most but encoded in numeric patterns, points to 2027 as a global turning point. This belief has prompted movements within Israel's political structure to push for the reconstruction of the Third Temple, not merely for religious purposes, but as a signal flare to the heavens. As this project gains momentum, the world's spiritual balance trembles, because according to the ancient prophecies, the building of the Third Temple is the final provocation, the moment when the dragon reveals itself in full. And where does this leave the rest of the world? Caught in a trance of false progress. While bombs fall and alliances fracture, the Western world is distracted, fed narratives of climate collapse, AI salvation, and digital utopias. Yet beneath this distraction, global financial systems are shifting. Several economic think tanks have quietly proposed a new reserve currency, one allegedly backed not by gold, but by quantum assets. These assets, shrouded in secrecy, are believed to be tied to Middle Eastern technologies discovered beneath ancient ruins, technologies said to resonate with non-human frequencies. What if the Red Dragon isn't just spiritual or political, but technological? A hybrid force, part machine, part myth, now rising through the networked veins of the Earth. Consider the global rollout of low-orbit satellites by multiple nations. Consider the silence of the Vatican on matters of celestial prophecy, despite owning one of the world's most advanced astronomical observatories, the LUCIVR instrument in Arizona. Could this device be tracking more than stars? Could it be watching the skies for the return of something not human? Iranian clerics have openly stated their belief that the Mahdi will return with Jesus at his side to usher in justice. But what if this return is orchestrated, digitally simulated by deep technologies controlled by unseen hands? A manufactured Messiah, a synthetic second coming, and in the background, the dragon, shifting, morphing, whispering through code. In Chinese symbology, the red dragon is a harbinger of cosmic change, but in biblical lore, it is the beast that drags a third of the stars from heaven. Could we be witnessing a fusion of these meanings, an east-west convergence where spiritual deception meets technological awe? The war, then, is not just a clash of nations, it is a theater, a summoning. Each airstrike, each drone attack, each diplomatic lie, part of a ritual drama meant to prepare the world for an unveiling. And the portal? It may already be open. Some say it's not a gate in the sky, but in consciousness. That the real battleground is the human mind, its faith, its fear, its surrender. The dragon enters not with a roar, but with a whisper, and it's already speaking through your screen. And so we are left with a choice to see war as merely the clash of armies, or as the final act of a hidden liturgy. Is the world truly unraveling by chance, or are we being drawn, willingly or blindly, into a cosmic deception? The symbols are there, written in ancient text, etched into the architecture of power, and beamed silently across the sky. What if every missile launched, every political alliance formed, is part of a larger script, one not written in parliament or prophecy, but in the very code of reality? Could it be that we are not witnessing the end, but the beginning? Not of peace, but of unveiling. The red dragon has many heads, and perhaps we've only just seen the first. What do you think? Is the war between Iran and Israel merely geopolitical, or are we staring directly into the eyes of something older, deeper, and far more dangerous? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and remember, sometimes the truth is hidden not in darkness, but in plain sight.